Hey Taos, Miss P here. As some of you know, today marks the 1-year anniversary of Bill Whaley's passing.
He was one of Taos's many iconic characters. He started Geronimo in 1999, which later became Horsefly, and his journalistic style gained him the nickname the Pesky Insect. Bill used this political newspaper to hold local politicians accountable in this community, but he played more than just the pesky insect role. He was an author, editor, and educator at UNM. He loved his students, friends, and colleagues, his granddaughter Lily, his son Fitz, and my mother Deb. Bill loved to ski, which is what originally brought him to Taos. He also enjoyed coffee, reading while driving, and the occasional snack of picante corn nuts. He was loved by many, disliked by some, and his presence in this community is very missed. Because Bill was my stepfather, I had the opportunity to work with the newspaper, and most of my youth was involved in Taos politics, so I do understand how all of this goes. Part of my love and passion for my hometown is owed to Bill.
Although I'll never be able to fit this hat of his, I hope to channel him today as he helps me say what I believe needs to be said. Disclaimer, this is a soapbox rant, which means it's purely my opinion, but my opinion is based on observation, experience, as well as conversations with others in our community. And experiences are important. They help us discern character. Granted, I understand that nobody is perfect. I am well aware of my own imperfections, but I do strive to grow each and every day. Having said that, please respect my opinions, my thoughts, and who I am, even if you don't agree with me. I also ask that you be kind to others in your comments. It's election time in Taos, and this is perhaps the most important mayoral election of my lifetime. Currently, we have 4 mayoral candidates, which splits our votes a bit. Someone dear to me recently suggested that I do my own research and be careful with what I say because words can affect people's lives. This is very true, and I want to thank this person for their honesty and openness. It is not easy to have those conversations with others. And I do value this individual and my friendship with them. That being said, I want to set my intention for this video. I love this town. I'm proud to be Taosena, and I strive to be kind, thoughtful, and mindful in all I do and say within this community. I wish no ill will on anyone and send light to all who are growing. The role of local government is to represent its people. Its focus should be on the safety and well-being of the community, as well as the maintenance of town property. Some of the issues I have observed in this town include affordable housing, public safety, general maintenance of the town, recycling, the center's been closed, misuse of acequia and water rights. The focus seems to be entertaining people instead of taking care of the generational and full-time residents of Taos. Catering to the wealthy as opposed to the people who keep this town going. The airport, which is a direct route to the ski valley, making it overly difficult for people to start businesses. Y'all politicians have your hands in a lot of pots, leaving very little to those trying to get their start. Bottom line, people are tired and distrusting of local politicians. Some have shared with me that there have been promises made that have not been kept. Taos has a great need of a detox center, and mental health needs to be taken more seriously. Town worker morale is low. They are overworked and underpaid. $12.70 is just not enough to survive in this town. And I bet that they feel pretty unappreciated. I personally want to thank all the city workers in Taos for the hard work that they do, for being on call, for all that you give to our community. It is not unnoticed by me or others, and I want to encourage our locals to please praise them and thank them for the work that they do. There is a lack of transparency in the things that are being done, and the local administration ignores people's concerns and solutions, doing whatever they want anyway. The town and county need to have extended zones for voting. Taos is a small place, and many outside of the town limits are greatly affected by the decisions made by our local government. The town and county just can't seem to work together, although I do have to say the county has stepped up a bit since the last elections. Thank you. We appreciate that. Mask and vaccine mandates have caused virtue signaling and hard feelings between friends and neighbors. Some believe it's an overreach of power. I did tell you that I love my community, and that I do value people's experiences. What it seems to me is that the priorities of our local government are a tad askew. So who's to blame? Our current administration for one, but also our locals. Politicians. Taos has a history of corruption, retaliation, and bullying, and not doing what's best for the community as a whole. And by community, I mean its people, cultures, and traditions. Locals, we are not staying informed, and for those who are informed, we are not calling them out and holding them accountable. And we are to blame for this crap. If we're going to continue to say we deserve better, we have to start actively teaching politicians how to treat us. So what's to be done? I'm not one to complain without offering solutions. Change is the only constant in life, but not all change is good. And right now, Taos needs change that benefits and uplifts the people that keep this community going. Concerned locals need to show up and be informed of what local leaders are doing. In memory and thanks to Bill, I plan on attending more meetings and being more involved in what is happening in our community, and speaking out when something just isn't right. My suggested solutions to some of these problems include bridging the gap between the wealthy and the less fortunate in this town, giving more community service instead of fees to help maintaining our town, let local businesses and organizations use town facilities at lesser cost to entertain our community. And last but not least, vote. This is not a popularity contest. This is about deciding who is the best choice for Taos as a whole. We need someone who genuinely cares about our community. All four claim that they do. We need someone who's been elected to serve this community in a political capacity. Someone who will follow through with the promises made during and after their campaign. Someone who listens and works well with others, especially those who they might not agree with or even like. Someone who will be efficient and proactive for the issues that will come up in the future and do so in a thoughtful and kind manner. Someone with stable character, not just a friendly and big personality. I had an HR director once use liver sandwiches as a way to constructively criticize employees, and I'm going to use that technique to Whaley out the individual candidates. I have known Mayor Barone for many years. I grew up in the church that he attends, and my relationship with his family became personal at one point. I will say that Mayor Barone has done the best he can under the circumstances of a pandemic. However, he does have some bullyistic tendencies. I have seen it with my own eyes, and others have expressed this as well. And what he chooses to do in his personal life is his business, but when it trickles into his politics, that is not okay. But I do have to say I admire your work ethic. I know that you are a hard worker, and I've seen that you've taught all of your children to be the same. And that I do appreciate and have always admired about you, Mayor Barone. I went to high school with Pasquale, who has served his country, this community, and the youth of Taos all his life. Service is huge to me, and I can recognize someone with a true heart of service. While I appreciate a soft-spoken and kind man, I don't always think that they belong in politics, as they can be perceived as easily pushed around, and that's not something Taos needs right now. But given the chance, I think you could prove me wrong. I think you're very courageous for running in this election, and I don't think that you'd be easily bought. I so very much appreciate Genevieve stepping up and doing something. It's an example of the power of women, and that's something I can definitely stand behind. I don't know Genevieve personally, but I have inquired with friends and family to their experiences with her, and I've had some pretty mixed reviews. I wasn't too thrilled to hear some of the negative experiences that they've had with her. And I just don't think that she has the political experience needed to be mayor in Taos. I would, however, absolutely support you to run for council. So if you don't win in this election, please start there, because we desperately need first-generation, entrepreneurial, and strong women in office. I don't know him personally. Up until now, I didn't know what his role was in this community. So what I'm sharing about him is just my observations from the forum as well as some investigation. I really appreciate your attitude. You seem to look for the joy in challenging endeavors and the journey of the experience, which is what this town is all about, so way to represent. In some ways, I agree with you about not taking politics too seriously. But politics is very personal for a lot of members of this community, and not taking it seriously enough is going to lose you votes. And splitting votes is concerning to many people that I have spoken with. I also agree you have to be a bit psychotic to run for office. Unfortunately, that's the case. There are a lot of psychopaths in politics. That's where corruption begins. So I would absolutely support someone who could at least admit that this is true and is willing to fight and expose the corruption. From my experience, politics in Taos are very tricky. Some have suggested that I should run for mayor, and while I find this very flattering, I'm humble enough to know I have a lot to learn, and mayorship is something I can dabble in once I get more involved. Locals and politicians, if you genuinely care about the future of this community, now is the time to get more involved. While we have to discern the character of the candidates, we also have to be aware of the people that are backing them. Not everybody is easily bought, but some are already owned by those that are supporting them, and that is something that we have to take into account. It is time to start sharing your experiences about interactions you've had with these candidates and those who are backing them. Be truthful and be open, but also listen and put yourself in each other's shoes. Again, Taos's elected officials have been notorious for abusing their power, bullying, retaliating, and threatening people. And just remember, if you see bullying happening, it says more about the bully and not the bullied. I'm sure I'm going to get some backlash for this video, and I'm okay with that. I feel I have said what needed to be said. Please be kind and safe while campaigning. Your character also represents the person that you're supporting. And remember, don't take it personal. It's just politics. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching and hearing me out. And if you agree with what I've said, please like this video and share it with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow my Miss P Facebook page. Link is in the description below. There's so much more to come. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, which will ding every time I post new videos. Have a beautiful day, and remember, be kind, smile, and stay hydrated. Bye!